Hi, welcome to Speedrun Mojo, where we count down the top 10 facts about various speedrunners. In this video, we're covering Xar149 Famous, Stranded Isle Runner, and Google Doodle Champion Island Games Begin Runner. You probably know him from a couple other places as well, if you're in the Pico 8 scene, and we will get into all of that as we go down the list. Coming in at number 10, we have Stranded Isle. Xar is pretty much the best, if not the best, definitely top two Stranded Isle runner. Has a lot of first places, as you can see on the screen, and even in the categories where he's not first, you can see for any percent he's second place. For long any percent he's second place. Bread percent he has first place. A lot of competitive categories where he's up at the top, and even like if you look at the miscellaneous categories that not as many people have run, Zara's taken the time to run these and get some pretty good times on them. So definitely an impressive runner, and one of the sub-fivers as well, but we'll get into that. Pardon me. Number 9, Zara Plus. Zara Plus, much like Hollow Knight Plus and Melon Keeper Plus, it's Zara but more. It's more content. If you go on to Zara Plus, you'll find a analysis of the first ever sub 5, and you'll find some other banger content. So really, Zara is evolving the content game on YouTube. So yeah, definitely check out Zara Plus. Number 8, Google Doodle Champion Island Games Begin. Xar was, or I guess still is, a Google Doodle runner originally before he came over to Stranded Isle and really started setting scores. One of the few people to get a perfect marathon time, and I think tied with maybe 6 or 7 other people, so very good score there. I think like 13th in any percent, so pretty good time. Not a sub 8-minute time, but still pretty good. And yeah, Zara's definitely a competitive runner, definitely getting some really good times there. And yeah, Google Doodle Champion Island Games Begin. Pretty much the first game that Zara started speedrunning. Number 7, Pico 8. Zara took it upon himself to run every Pico 8 game on speedrun.com. I don't think he has completed that quest yet, but he has definitely ran a lot of the most obscure sort of Pico 8 games and given them some love on speedrun.com. And it's really cool to see someone taking the time to go through and do that, because there's some really cool Pico 8 speedruns out there. You just gotta look for them. And so yeah, Zar, I think it started with Stranded Isle and kind of expanded into the different N2SC games, and now it's just pretty much every Pico 8 game that Zara is interested in. Number 6, Zara is the only Australian. Pretty self-explanatory. Zara is actually Australian, and he's the only one that we know of. So like scientists, they can't find any more, but we know that Zara is Australian at least, so that's pretty good. Number 5, island games. Particularly pixelated island games. Xar, even more than Hollow Knight, has kind of boxed himself into a genre where he mostly speedruns pixelated island games. You can see here we have Islander on the screen, for which he is the world record holder. We have Google Doodle Champion Island Games Begin, for which he is not, but still a competitive runner. Stranded Isle, which we've already talked about. And Bright Lancer, which is a new sort of island game that Zara picked up recently that he is, I think, the only runner for. So yeah, kind of boxed himself into a genre here, but it's cool to see someone taking up all of the pixelated island games. And yeah, that's kind of Zara's thing at the moment. Number 4 for our sub 5 fact, we are going to be talking about Zara's sub 5. Zara was the 3rd ever person to sub 5. It happened pretty recently this year. And yeah, it's a pretty great achievement. He's actually the 2nd place, so his time was a 4:52, which for a first time sub 5er is actually the fastest ever, because when Hollow Knight sub 5 for the first time, it was a 4:56, I think. And when Armin sub 5, it was a 4:58. So 4:52 for a first time sub 5 is definitely a really good time. You can see in the run that Xar has sort of a very good control over the game. He knows what he's doing. He makes some really good decisions. And it would not be surprising if Xar were to come back and maybe even get world record. I know that that's like a big comment to make, because world record is a 4:43. So he would have to cut off about 10 seconds to get world record, but absolutely, if anyone can do it, Xar can, and Xar's sub 5 was certainly a moment. Number 3, piss in the sink. This is pretty simple. Xar is a sink pisser. In the game, I don't remember what it's called. He pissed in the sink for the Rat Chips speedrun. As we can see, this is also its own kind of sub 5, because he did actually piss in the sink in under 5 seconds, which is very impressive. And congratulations to Xar on that achievement. Number 2, Xar is a bit of a cross-country runner. He's very fast, he's very good. He's out of commission at the moment, shin splints, but you know he'll be back at it with his cross-country running. And it's really impressive for an Australian, because the country's quite big. You know, if you're a cross-country runner in Scotland, it's not as impressive. Like, it's not as big. But Australia is a really big country. So being a cross-country runner means that you got to be very, very fast. And honestly, Xar is probably the fastest human. So, you know, that's a pretty cool Xar fact. And number 1, Xar is a very talented speedrunner who just kind of came onto the scene in August, September, July. It was July. It just goes to show I do not know what the 7th month of the year is. In July of 2021, kind of came onto the scene with a lot of Champion Island runs, and then later on kind of got into Stranded Isle, and has just been running a bunch of games since, moderates for a bunch of games, Serpent's Shadow, mostly Pico 8 games as I understand it. But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of, I mean, put it this way, in under a year, Xar has done more runs than Aramin, close to the same number of runs as Hollow Knight, because Hollow Knight's at like 200 runs, Xar's at like 179. So certainly just a runner who will try anything, and plays some of the most unusual games that I've ever seen, such as Flarts and How to Rob a Gas Station. So Xar, definitely the kind of runner that you can expect to be all over every leaderboard. I think given another year, and you're going to be seeing Xar everywhere on speedrun.com. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, stick around, because the next one is going to be on the famous Tokobot Plus runner, Melon Keeper. See you then.